What's going on, Bears fans? So, Khalil Herbert is a player that coming into the season, we thought it was going to have a nice balance and dynamic in that deep running back room. He's basically been phased completely out of the Chicago Bears offense. So today's episode, me, C-Dub, and Bobby are going to ask the question, should the Bears be shopping Khalil Herbert between now and the trade deadline? We're going to get to all that and more right after this.
Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. We got the whole team in the building today. C-Dub, Bobby, myself, Haize. And we're starting off with a very simple question. We'll see where we go from coming out of this. But Khalil Herbert, guys, I don't think we've seen Khalil Herbert take a single snap in maybe the last 3 games. I may be wrong on the exact. I know definitely the last 2.
You got some run at special teams.
I mean,
a snap.
Are we really counting that?
I get you.
I get what you're saying. I mean, put some respect on his name. He should be returning kicks if that's the case, but nonetheless. So I'm gonna throw this question to you guys. Right now, we know that the Bears have a deficit at that offensive line. They need some talent there. Now, Khalil Herbert said unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, and so it seems like the Bears have completely moved on from Khalil Herbert as far as being part of their game plan. And I think regardless of that, I see my dad in the comments saying it depends on the comp we get back. But the fact of the matter is you're not using him. He's a free agent at the end of the year. It does not seem like the Bears plan on using him unless there's major injuries. We've had injuries before. We've basically signed a running back off the street that has come in and been able to give us solid production. At this point, with Khalil Herbert being an unrestricted free agent, should the Bears be shopping him to get something back rather than do what they did with David Montgomery and losing him for absolutely nothing?
Well, I think the obvious answer is yeah, and it's just he got tremendous value. I'm gonna call it tremendous. I'm gonna use that word because if you look at the 2 previous years with him sharing the load, he rushed for over 700 yards in 22 and over 600 yards in 23. And those numbers might be a little skewed. It may be a little, you know what I'm saying? Because Justin Fields had close to 700 yards last year as well. But this guy is a serviceable running back. I don't know why he fell out of favor. Maybe the other guys is doing everything better than him in practice. Maybe especially in the pass protection. I think that's where he incredibly lacks in. They just put him to the side, dude. And you just gotta take your losses, get something for him because I don't see no way that he's a Chicago Bear next season. So you might as well get some assets. You might as well, bro.
Yeah, and here I'm going to pull up 2 comments from It's Crimson. He said trading Herbert would be a mistake. Herbert led the league in yards per carry in 2022. It's 2024, and is it more a mistake to trade somebody you're not using? Like, that's the thing. Why keep somebody? He's not going to stay if you keep using. He's had 8 carries on the year. 8. We're talking about over 100 yards every season. Every season he's played in the NFL, he's on pace this season to end up the season with 40 carries. That's not somebody you just to say, oh, well, what he did in 2022. If what he did in 2022 mattered, he'd be on the field, I think. What do you think, Bobby?
I'm thinking that you hold on to Khalil Herbert, at least for right now. Here's why. Vegas Jones is in a doghouse. Don't look like he's ever coming out. And do you trust him to even receive a handoff right now? No. Travis Homer is currently on IR, and we know how sometimes when guys come back, sometimes they try to come back too early, and then, injuries can occur again. So I'm saying that this is a situation, unless you traded for somebody and he's included for somebody that's impactful, I'm willing to hold on to the depth piece. It's the NFL. Guys get injured all the time. And I think that, like we said, he holds some type of value. I say retain the value because you ain't giving him the money anyway. We already know that.
But what's the value at the end of the season?
It will be in case one of your main 2 guys go down. Because Rojo has a history of knocking himself out of games with concussions. He's worked on his patience this season. It looks a lot better and a lot more fluid on how he's hitting the holes. But I would rather keep him on. And then in this past game, we seen him fill in on special teams. So that could be just something that's there in case DeAndre Carter goes down. So I say I'd rather have the depth uh for the Chicago Bears than to just let it go. Because I feel like if we let him go, we'll be weakening ourselves a little bit.
Oh, that still doesn't answer the question at the end of the season, though. If you lose him for nothing, so you're willing to hold on to him for depth this season to lose him
Are
for
you
nothing at the end of the
guaranteeing that
season?
we're gonna get a pick that's a fourth rounder? I don't see nothing a fourth rounder coming through the door.
I don't even think it's
Or
about
offensive lineman coming through the door.
I don't think it's about a fourth round pick or the best absolute offensive lineman. It's just that you're wasting a guy's talent. It can be about him too. Like, how does he feel? Does he feel like he's better than Rojo Johnson? And I would like to add that they still got Travis Homer also is a part of this football team, or am I mistaken?
No,
If
He
you
you're
is.
have
He's on
absolutely
IR
right,
though.
but he's on IR. That's what I'm saying. Do you know for sure that he's gonna come back and be able to supply something for the squad? If not, I'd rather hold on to the depth piece.
It's a very slippery slope, bro. Like, you're gonna lose him for nothing
You lose
anyway.
players
I
every
think
year for nothing.
I just think
It's gonna
the
be okay if
smart
you don't get an additional pick. You need the depth piece just in case guys go down. This is a long journey through the season, and guys are not here right now. That's my
forget a
only point.
forget the draft pick. What if you can get a serviceable player,
Then I'm
serviceable
on board with
offensive
that.
line?
Then I'm on
So it
board.
ain't
But
just
as of
about the
right
pick.
now,
For to be financially responsible, I think it would be best to trade dude before the trade
you only
deadline.
I mean, I
paying the
get
It
what I
man
doesn't
no
get what
make
more
I,
than
any
I get what
sense.
$6
Bobby's
million.
saying. Let's be clear. I get what Bobby's what the merit of what Bobby's saying is completely. He's saying that if, but here's the thing. Like I said before, we've seen us sign running backs that literally were on no teams, and we had to sign them because we had injuries. They've been able to come in and produce. Like that's what. And I don't have a list in front of me of running backs that could be available. If I did, I look at that. But I completely understand the merit of what Bobby's saying. But at the end of the day, to me, even if you were to lose the debt piece this season, if anybody is offering anything of any type of value, I would even say at this point, if it's a 5th round pick with a condition to turn into a 4th round pick, that's a better value than holding on to somebody who could potentially give you depth that you could never use either, that'll give you something guaranteed that you can use in the future. It's just
I
the way that I
actually
look at it.
I actually like that condition. You know, we're gonna trade for a 5th with the condition of it becoming a 4th. But if it comes in, they throw a trade at me that's a N'Keal Harry trade, we just giving you a 7th round and we gonna take the player, then it's all for nothing in my opinion, because how many 7th rounders have turned out for the Chicago Bears?
If
Not
somebody
many of them.
offering a 7 rounder for Khalil Herbert, they
I'm
gonna get
just
a
saying
middle
you don't
finger.
know. You said what?
They gonna get a middle finger. Like, what the hell are you talking about? This is Khalil Herbert. He's a serviceable running back. He has trouble pass protecting. Don't sell him short. Talk about 7 round picks. Somebody can need this guy. And then when I
Okay,
look at the free agents,
with a 6th round pick, the same thing with conditions on it, then that will make more sense. But if you telling me if it's just for a 6th rounder or a 7th rounder, I'm holding on to the depth piece, bro.
I think you're selling them too short. They ain't even starting on 6 or 7 round. That's
Bro,
crazy.
and then it's just my train of thought, and I could be thinking too deep into it, but yeah, we seen guys come into the locker room and have a immediate impact, but we seen guys coming here and not paying out for the squad too.
Okay.
Right
All
now,
right.
he's not a problem.
What about
Yeah, but
team
right now he's not
chemistry?
a value either. I mean I get and I love that we all disagree in this. Like that, let me be clear because everybody has their own merit for how they view it.
Right.
But like I said, like just keeping around somebody because of the chance that they could, and at that
Yeah.
point, like, and I even seen like Chrisman say, well, if he gets in their game, Swift will never win the starting position back. If that was the case, they would have never fucking signed Swift. They
Exactly.
don't see, they
That's
do
not
not
true.
see Khalil. The reason why we're having this
That's not being
conversation
real.
is that Khalil Herbert is not part of the future.
He's
Regardless
not.
of what
Okay.
we could talk about as far as needing the depth piece now, this season or not, the fact of the matter, the reason why we're having this conversation is there is zero chance that Khalil Herbert is a Chicago Bear next year. It's not happening.
So,
For
hey,
sure.
can I jump off that?
Yeah.
Nephew,
Go
you
ahead.
heard that? That is the actual fact. He is not a part of the future of the Chicago Bears. Now, wouldn't it be financially responsible to get something for him before you lose him? Because it ain't no way, the way he has 16 yards on the season. Ain't no way this guy's going to sign back with the Chicago Bears. Wouldn't it be financially responsible to get something for this kid before he leaves and gives you the middle finger like y'all bogus for doing that to me.
Yeah, but it's not like we paying this man 20 million a year. This
Right.
is we paying them something for the low. So if you coming to me, you making a call and said, I'll give you a 6-rounder for Khalil Herbert, you ain't playing him anyway. Okay. I won't accept that. But if something that's more enticing to what Haize' point is, hey, we'll give you this with the conditions that it can improve into something better for me. And then I will be willing to concede that. But if you just giving me pennies on the dollar, I'm good.
I think
Because it's the NFL. I'm taking into account that we still got some season left. And it's about to get real physical in this second half of the season with the weather changing in the matchups we about to go against. Guys are going to get banged up. I'd rather
There
have
is some running
piece.
backs in free agency: Kareem Hunt, Marlon Mack, Damian Harris,
Those are
Latavius
not
Murray.
neither
Those are
none
running
of those
backs that
guys
can
are
do.
good as Khalil Herbert.
You're right, but the
They
thing
don't
is,
have
I
to
think
be.
the thing that you have to ask yourself with this is that are you willing to, let's just say the worst case scenarios on both sides. If Roshan, which he is injury prone, goes down, if DeAndre Swift goes down, if you get to the point of losing both those guys, right? Is it a greater risk? Are you more willing to say, all right, we got Khalil Herbert to step in and give us a couple, help us win a couple more football games this year, right? Or is it a greater risk to say, all right, Khalil Herbert ends up not playing anything this year, and then he walks for nothing in free agency, and you could have got, and that, I guess that's just the difference in the view of it. I think the greater risk in this, especially, and I think it actually benefits that he's getting paid nothing because the team can absorb his contract more easily at the trade deadline to get something back for the player that you don't have anything with.
I think
Like that's the thing that I look at. If I'm willing, and I'm not saying that anybody else should be.
Right.
I'm willing to bet on, all right, if he goes down, we can get somebody in here who can at least do. It's not like we're being an amazing running the football team anyway. First of all, I'm willing to get back any assets back. And it's not about that one asset turning into something. It's about giving Ryan Poles more assets to will and deal on. Is a big portion of that as well. So I'm willing to take that risk than to hold on to somebody who's guaranteed to not come back.
I just think right now we got something good going. I don't want to screw that shit up. That's just how I'm pretty much looking at it all. And I know that right now, those are tough decisions to make. And sometimes you got to have the foresight, but sometimes you got to live in the now too and just go through it. That's how I'm coming from this when it comes to this. I want to see these guys continue to build. Right now, Khalil Herbert is not an issue from what we've seen. I'm pretty
But he's
sure
not a value either.
He's not
exactly.
a part. You
But
said you don't want to.
saying he's not a value for the future, but for right now, if a guy go down, we know he can fill in. We know he can.
Nephew, you said you don't want to screw this up, but he's not a part of anything to screw anything up.
He is. He's seen
what has he done on the football field for the last 3 weeks?
That is one of the things that we've come to accept is another phase of football for us as a squad. C-Dub, you've been cheering on Torrey Taylor, gang. So we understand that we need guys that's going to have to be able to compete on that side. And I'm saying you need the security if a guy goes down. We 5 games in. I'm not ready to give up on it yet unless there is a deal that makes sense for me. But as of right now, I'm holding a debt piece, bro.
Let me ask you this. Velus Jones ain't been cut yet.
Now, that's another thing that is something I can't vouch for because at least Khalil Herbert, he's seeing some field.
I'm speaking in terms of he can replace Khalil Herbert.
So back at you. Velus is in a doghouse. Travis Homer is on IR. Mm-hmm. If one of your 1 and 2 running back goes down, are you pulling Velus out of the doghouse?
You have to.
You have to, but do you trust that? Are you more comfortable with Velus or are you more comfortable with Khalil?
I'm okay. I'm more comfortable with Khalil, but the situation is that he's not part of the future. That's it. That's the situation.
The point is you don't need to be putting yourself in jeopardy as well than in putting guys who are not capable. You know he's capable. You don't trust Velus. I can't answer why the man is still on the squad. I can't. Okay. But I'm not ready to let it go. If Travis Homer come back but before trade deadline and the Bears have shown that they believe in Travis Homer more than Khalil Herbert. I will concede that and give y'all that because that's what they've shown. So I believe it's a fact. But until he comes back, I can't make that determination to let Khalil Herbert go until we know he's coming back ready to go. I will concede that part of it.
Okay. So you're saying Travis Homer comes back, he's cleared, he gets off IR. At that point,
good. They confident, cool. But if he ain't ready to go, because these IR situations can change, we see him all the time.
You love you some Khalil Herbert, motherfucker.
I don't love Khalil Herbert. I'm trying to make a logical decision.
He's making a logical, like, don't act like he's not making a logical.
I know,
like,
but
argument.
Well, we got to be responsible, bro. We got to be responsible. I know that might be a great move for this year, but we thinking about the future as well, bro. What about the future?
Or you got 7 picks. This team already got so many holes filled. I believe the Bears are closer to the point of picking based off best player available more so than picking off of need or where they are.
Not
right
really,
now.
not with that offensive line being as bad as they are.
I'm just saying, you got your right tackle, you got your left tackle. For this point, whether we believe that he's gonna move off of him, he got the 2 in position already. In the left guard, we'll see how you feel about Tevin Jenkins. But as of right now, again, I believe there is more ability to draft for best player available than it is for holes to plug. I'm telling you.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
I hear you. Bro.
It's gonna be interesting to watch as it's doing. And in nowhere are we saying they should trade him today. That's why the title is before the trade deadline. There's still a lot of time. Trade deadline's week 10.
It should be like November 5th or something like that.
Oh, so we're 4 weeks away from it. It's a month
November.
away from it.
Early November.
When is Travis Homer due to come off IR? Ain't that like 6 weeks?
He was placed in week 2, I think, right?
Yeah, so
it's 4 weeks.
So he should be good.
So he should be back over the bye week.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see by then.
We'll
see. I mean,
and I will have no issues with it if he's coming back ready to go.
Another few weeks to determine. And I get what Bobby's more so living in the now, saying that right now, don't trade him because we don't know what's going on with the running back room if he goes down.
And I gotta
what?
This is the day after a loss, it'll probably been trade everybody, but we good today.
I mean, ultimately, how active do you think Ryan Poles is going to be? I know, like somebody like Crimson, who Crimson needs a better hat selection as well. By the way, this is my Crimson is family. He's going to take the joke very well. But thinks that because of Ryan Poles' pass, it means that Ryan Poles is going to be willing and dealing. I think personally, I think this is a very different year than previous years, whereas you can go out and get a wide receiver with a pick and things like that. Like trading for an offensive lineman. It's very difficult and that's the really only position of need, right? And so I don't know if this year, with the picks that Ryan Poles does have, if those picks are better suited to try to address the line in the draft, or it means trying to move on and get a lineman now who could take a lot of cap space as well. Where do you guys sit on it?
Oh, I definitely want to build in the draft. I like young players on this team. Just for that reason that you said, it's going to be a higher cap hit, and you can use that, get some young players in here and get some more weapons. You don't know what Keenan Allen's going to do after the season among some other players as well. So you want to be as economical as possible with this draft coming up. And I can see them going young and attacking that offensive line, which I think is the right way to go. You got to go young.
Yeah, I think that it's gonna come down to a lot of things, because if Shane Waldron calls a game like he did yesterday, or something comparable to that, the Bears offensive line gonna be able to cover up for a lot of their flaws, and it's something he might be able to sit out until the offseason, because like Haize, you mentioned, it's extremely hard to trade for offensive linemen because even if some teams are not starting at both their best offensive linemen, they still like to keep that depth on their offensive line because how much they go down, i.e. the Baltimore Ravens. John Harbaugh, he getting questions about if he's willing to trade one of his top picks that ain't even playing much. He said no. And that's one of the main reasons why. This is something that Shane Waldron and the squad gonna have to realize that we got, and that's what it is. You got to play a certain type of way. But
That's
Ryan
that,
Poe's gonna be waiting for sure.
that's interesting. You think a second round pick, just trading from any team, can get somebody to come off a starting lineman on any team, a second
It,
round
it
pick?
depends on the
Probably.
place that the team's in. Like I do think like teams that are realize that they're far off. Like not that the Panthers have any offensive linemen we necessarily want, but a team like that would be willing to trade off maybe some starting caliber linemen for a second round pick. But I want to throw in this wrinkle in it as well. Keep in mind this. I know that we typically had really great cap space, and honestly, in 2026, we're set to have $207 million in cap space. So that's a really good thing there. But the thing that you have to look at as well in this is that it's not what it used to be before. We're about to have to start extending players.
Yeah.
So that's another piece why I don't think Poles is going to be willing, if he can address the offensive line in the draft. You want to do that because we're not at the place anymore where none of these young players are about to start getting extensions. You got to get ready for Kyler Gordon's extension. You got to get ready for Jaquan Brisker's extension. Extension. On top of that, players that you just acquired that are playing pretty damn good for you, you may want to keep that core together. Darrell Taylor's an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year, right? Matt Pryor, an offensive lineman that things really started changing after you got him into your starting lineup, is an unrestricted free agent.
That's interesting.
So I think that I get it where the common thought has been Ryan Poles is willing to go out and get veterans, but at this point, going out and trading a second round pick, a third round pick that can get you a cost controlled, really good offensive lineman. And if you get a veteran in here, now maybe you get lucky. Maybe they're on a decent contract. But if they're on the way that really good linemen get paid, you're cutting deeply into your cap space at a time where you're about to start having to pay the guys that you originally drafted. A lot of those guys are starting to come up for contracts.
Yeah, and if you just think about the team as well, you want to try to keep as many of these guys together as long as you can. And if you start going into that route of signing these guys with these hefty contracts, like Drip just said, you might have to lose a couple of those guys. And I like this core. It's going to be hard to tell you right now. It's going to be hard to keep all these good players because they're all really, really good, especially on the defensive side. But I think he can do it. But he's gonna have to be very, very cunning with free agency, with signing contracts, with drafting. It's gonna be a tough job for Ryan Poles coming up in the future. So, man,
it's definitely gonna be tough for him. But hey, from what we've seen so far, he's the guy that's able to get it done. So we just go see what happened with that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how he threads the needle in trying to get this offensive line where it needs to be, because even trying to do a combination of vets and a combination of young players still can eat considerably into your cap. And like I said, over the next couple of years, you got some decisions you need to make on some guys that are all performing pretty well for you, and some guys that you just got. You're gonna have to make a decision based off what they've done for you in 1 year. But gonna be interesting because hey, he's gonna have to keep getting creative. Darrell Taylor's a guy that we really like so far. So had really good production. Only 27 years old. He's an unrestricted free agent. Of course, Keenan Allen. I don't think Keenan Allen's coming back. I'm not too worried about that one. But other guys you got to make decisions on, man. Starting to get a little tough is all I'm saying, and we'll see.
It's definitely about to get tough.
How that shakes out.
How old is Keenan Allen?
He like 30, 32.
Yeah, 32 years old.
Do you think he's in that point of his career where he's like, man, just give me less money. I want to try to compete. I want to try to compete because I don't think he's ever really, really been in that position to threaten for like a AFC championship game or a Super Bowl like that. But if you look at our players that we have now, the future is very bright. He might look at it and be like, man, you know what, man? This might be my last shot at it, man. Yeah, man. What y'all got? 2 mil, 4 mil? Is that too much to ask for Keenan?
He ain't gonna take no pay cut or like 4 mil, but I think if you make it a respectable offer, you know what I'm saying, that probably has a salary that's good and then decrease as the years go on for however many years that they decide. I think that might be something that's more favorable. But he ain't going that. I don't think he going down that low.
I think a competitor. I like Keenan Allen, and when I watch him play football, he had his big contracts. He got big contract. He got paid. You know what I'm saying? Some people just love the sport and want to be on top of the sport. So why wouldn't he? I mean, it's a possibility, and then it's the other
Right.
possibility he want his money. Give my guy money. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
what if that's possible? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, anything is possible, but from what I've heard, seen, read about Keenan Allen, not to say he won't give up some money, but I ain't giving up that much. I don't think he's giving
I
up
feel
that
you,
much.
John.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at that, but
So
maybe this is gonna be a good team. This is gonna be a good team for a while, bro. I don't know. Better be careful, Keenan.
We'll see.
Be careful, big dog.
We're gonna see what he step up and try to do for sure.
yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, man.
Hey man, would y'all stop comparing my quarterback with Jaden? He's awesome too. Jaden is awesome. But Caleb, he's awesome too, dude. You know who Caleb remind me of, Drip? Caleb remind me of, see if y'all feel this. Tell me if I'm just going over the top. A more mobile, a more arm strong, like his arm strength is better, Peyton Manning. Am I wrong? A more mobile.
Dub. Hey, Dub.
Am I wrong?
Dub. Hey, listen, bro. Hey, tell your wee man, let me holler at him, bro. He got you some strong shit. Dub be coming out the gate like Dub be wanting to make Hall of Fame. This is the same guy who compared Larry Marketing to Larry Bird. That man be coming out the wazoo with some comparisons, bro. Like, come on, man.
We gotta wait and see.
I don't think he Russell Wilson. I just hear people keep saying Russell Wilson.
He gonna be his own player, man. That's what people just let him be him. That's what matters. He gonna be his own type of player.
Christopher, what the fuck are you talking about? So which two things are not the same? Are you really comparing Mercedes Lewis to Keenan Allen?
50. What are you talking about? That ain't trying to neglect what he do for the team.
I kind of understand it in a way.
No, how? I get what he's saying. He's saying that look at Keenan Allen's production, look at Mercedes, but also look at the places and the amount that they signed for. That's the thing you gotta look. Mercedes Lewis is not in line. He is not at the career
to get at, but
come on, man.
That's where the drop off at.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. That's wild, bro. That's crazy. Like Christopher's the type of dude to pull a 6 and be like, "Hey, man, I could get Halle Berry."
Damn, off the 6.
Like what? Off the 6? You coming off you going straight to Halle Berry? Regina King? Like, what are we doing?
No. That's funny.
You see what you do to people, C-Dub? You make them make crazy comparisons. That's the impact that you have on people.
Hey, man, I ain't got nothing. That's him. I'm doing me. That's on him. Everybody better be a leader. Don't follow me. Be a leader. I'm too damn crazy.
C-Dub will take you straight to the depths of hell.
You talking about be a leader.
Any last thoughts, fellas, before we get up out of here, before anybody else start tripping even more, bro?
Hey, man, my homie going to the London game. That was just crazy, man.
You listen to the voicemail?
Huh?
Oh, wait, your homie going to the London?
My homie going to London to the football game, man. He gonna send me some photos and stuff. That's gonna be dope, man. So I can't wait to see. This is gonna be a tough game because the Jaguars, they only play good in overseas. So let's see what's going on.
We absolutely will see what's going on. Y'all hit that like button, subscribe. More to come soon.
Absolutely, man. Make sure you guys are following the channel at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments. I had to cut a joke. I was about to go in, but it would have started a whole nother leg of the show. I'm gonna shut up. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. Shy Bear Central Gmail. ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail number to do so, 773-242-9336. We're the #1 spot for everything